Hello, if your current blindfold method is classic Pochmann, this video will give you tips on how to get faster at blindfold solving. First, get a good memory system. The Speed Solving Wiki has a page on blind memorization. I'm not going to explain any memory methods because it'll just be me talking and you listening. What you need to do is experiment with the different memory methods and try different combinations of memory methods until you find the right one for you. Everyone is capable of memorizing fast, you just need a good system. In case you don't want to completely ditch classic Pochmann, what you can do to speed it up is just learn some extra algorithms, such as this T-perm. It's similar to the normal T-perm except it doesn't shoot to UL, it shoots to LU. And this can speed up setup moves by a tiny bit. Not much though, but it will speed things up. Okay, whatever. Another thing you can do is learn edge flipping algs. So, like this, okay? Rather than doing two J-perms or a J-perm and L-perm or whatever, you can just do the one algorithm. Also, corner twisting algorithms can help. I actually use a commutator for this. It's called monoflip, and instead of having to do 4 Y-perms to solve this, you can just do the one commutator. If you memorize edges last and then solve them first, what you can do if you have parity is to avoid doing an R-perm, you solve the edges normally, except you treat UB as if it's UL and UL as if it's UB. So you'll finish off with these two edges swapped. And then when you do the odd number of Y-perms, they'll swap back. Therefore you won't have to do an R-perm. If you memorize corners last and then solve them first, what you can do if you have parity is treat these two corners opposite. So you'll end up with all the corners solved, except these two corners will be swapped. And that means you won't have to do R-perm, because the odd number of T, J, and L-perms to solve the edges will swap these back. I don't know which Y-perm you use, but I would suggest that you use this one. It's the normal Y-perm, it just doesn't have the F move at the front and back, and what it does is shoot the buffer, ULB, to RDF. You will save moves by doing this as opposed to the normal PLL Y-perm. You should practice cancellations with setup moves in the Y-perm. This, for instance, we're shooting to RFU, and the setup move will be R prime, and the first move of the Y-perm is R. Therefore, all we have to do is then R, R, which can be done as R2. Then we're shooting to R, BD, right there. So this can be done with R2, Y-perm, no R move at the end. Sorry, that's all I can really say about that because you have to practice that yourself. The target is ULF. Now instead of setting up this with F R prime, you should take advantage of the J-perm. For this, the target is ULB. Instead of setting this up with RD prime, you should take advantage of the L-perm. Also, when you have two consecutive corner targets on the U-face, you can always solve them with A-perm. This, for instance, we have the targets UFL and UBR, and this, of course, can be solved with an A-perm. But you have to realize that when you solve A-perms with your eyes open, you don't necessarily take notice of which direction the corners cycle in, you just look at the pattern. So when you're doing it blindfolded, you have to actually know which A-perm cycles in which direction. If you want to change from classic Pochmann to a faster method, then the edge method is your main priority to change, because the edges do take up the majority of time during execution, and Y-perm for the corners really isn't that bad. What you should be thinking about is your turning style. If you like doing M slices, then perhaps you should try progressing onto M2 as your next solving method for the edges. That uses DF as the buffer. Whereas if you're not so much of a fan of M slices, maybe you should try Turbo, which has UF as the buffer. When you're using Turbo, U-perms do come up often. This is a very big leap, but if you understand how commutators work, you can learn how to solve the cube using efficient and intuitive 3 cycles. The BH method does this, but the reason why the term commutators and BH aren't used interchangeably is because BH specifically solves 3 cycles optimally. So you may be able to solve the cube using commutators, but unless you're able to solve each 3 cycle using the lowest possible move count, you're not using BH. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope this short progression video was of good assistance.